yeah, we got to cut a few seconds off that at that ending there. Hey, everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
Hello, Johnny boy! Johnny, we got breaking news at the top of the show.
Okay, what do you got?
I'm telling you, they do this for the Hot Mic now. Disney has just announced that the Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars, have been delayed.
We knew it.
Delayed. Doomsday is now moving to December 18th, 2026.
Jesus.
Secret Wars is moving from December 2027, is moving to December 2027. So they're basically just moving the movies from May to December.
Yes.
And this is what I said all along, because there's no way that they're releasing a Star Wars movie and an Avengers movie in the same month. Why would you do that? We've
been saying this for months. Well, not just that, the idea that you could shoot this film in a year and be done with post-production on the film in a year and under a year was absolutely lunacy. Absolute lunacy. So all the people, and what else did you say a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago, right? That a lot of these contracts weren't finished or weren't signed yet. So you didn't know who was saying what in the movie. The scripts were unfinished. So this idea that you were going to run into a film, shoot it and have it out in under a year when you don't have the actors locked down, you don't have the script locked down, you don't have anything really locked down other than some elements of it, was absolute lunacy. So no surprise at all. I mean, literally no surprise at all in this announcement.
Hot Mic starting out hot.
I mean, unless Marvel was going to use AI to shoot the entire film and AI to do the post-production 100%, there was no way they were going to get this done. So now that they've got this extra time, though, Jeff, and I'm thinking on the fly here, because this is the first time I'm hearing about this just right now. What do you think the steps are now going forward? Does Spider-Man move? Is there a Doctor Strange movie announced? What do you think this extra time will give them besides locking down some more of these deals and locking down the script?
I mean, I think a lot of it is post, right? They're going to have a lot more time in post. This was always going to be a mad rush if they kept the dates as is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does allow them to extend production somewhat, or at least have more flexibility as far as okay, let's get everybody back together for a week or two to shoot this now that this actor is available or whatever.
Yeah.
On certain things, I have heard this week that Marvel is casting the role of Ghost Rider.
Oh, really?
And that's for Doomsday.
So Ghost Rider is going.
I'm hearing that Ghost Rider is going to be in Doomsday.
Wow. Now, is that fan service Ghost Rider Nicolas Cage coming back as Johnny Blaze, or a new Ghost Rider who is going to take the mantle over into the Midnight Suns element with Blade and other people involved in that group that they've been talking about for quite some time? Is that the approach? It would be a Ghost Rider that would be the future Ghost Rider in the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, why? I assume that's what it would be. Why would they just cast someone for a one and done?
Well, no, I mean, for the Nicolas Cage, they could do it as fan service or nostalgia to bring him in. But you're saying this is going forward.
They're casting a new one. They're not just bringing in Nick Cage. That would just be a phone call, right?
Right.
This is a search.
Wow. Are you hearing if it's going to be the Johnny Blaze, the original Ghost Rider, or are they going to go with a different Ghost Rider? What do you, anything other beyond that?
So I don't even know. Ghost Rider to me is Johnny Blaze. Are there other Ghost Riders?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
There have been other Ghost Riders.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. To me, Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider.
Okay. All right. Fair point. Wow. Okay. That's so interesting. Wow. Okay. So no surprise at all that this is all going down the way it's going down. I wonder if now, this is going to delay this even further. Do they need more time? Do you think we'll hear now the X-Men casting stuff? Do you think they want to also give themselves some more time to lock down the X-Men cast, who might be previewed in Doomsday or in Secret Wars?
I mean, that's the thing. It's not only are they still not sure who's going to be in this movie, right. Even if they are sure, this character is in the script, they don't know who's playing some of these characters, like, you know, with Ghost Rider and with X-Men. So I think this does give them a little bit more time. I think it gives more time to get, like, I think if they really want Tom Holland in here,
yes,
you know, I don't know if he's available or, you know, whatever it is.
Right.
So maybe this gives them the opportunity to, like, get him in for just a couple days for a cameo. I think it changes things for sure in terms of scheduling and availability.
Right. Wow. All right. Anything more you want to add to that? Anything more that you have heard about the Marvel stuff recently here? Anything more you want to throw on the fire here?
No, the only thing I want to say is my sexual preference is often.
Someone asked that. Okay, well, what a way to start the hot mic. And this is why you guys watch live every week on the hot mic, because you never know what story is going to break, and we're just going to talk about it right off the bat here on the show, just as we did here with these Avengers movies. If you're just joining us now, both Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars have been pushed to December 2026 and 2027 respectively. No one with half a brain probably didn't see this coming because of the idea that they would finish this thing in a year, Doomsday, with the massive scope that it has, and have the post-production done and ready to go in a year. So
I wonder if, because the Michael Jackson movie, right? Like we just added that to the rundown. Yeah, we were going to talk about it, but like I wonder if Michael Jackson takes the Avengers date now in May.
Oh yeah.
Now, I mean, that's a big weekend that is now wide open, and there's not a ton of competition around it because everybody was expecting an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, according to Lionsgate's Q4 earnings call, Antoine Fuqua's long gestating biopic there of Michael Jackson is going to be going into theaters after April of 2026. So they're delaying it until after April of 2026. They claim to have 3.5 hours of amazing footage, quote unquote, and it would be split into two parts, as Jeff said. So a few weeks ago. So the idea that they could take May 2026, that's after April. So it's certainly possible, Jeff, that they lock down May in 2026 and maybe May in 2027 to release the film in two parts. Do you think a Michael Jackson biopic has that kind of legs, shall we say, to get make people wait a whole year for a second part, or do you think it would be later on in the year?
I actually, that's a good question. I don't know if it'll be a full year wait or if it'll be like we're going to release part 1 in May and part 2 in November or something like that. I think I'd have to like be really familiar with the schedule. The cat with the movie release calendar. I mean,
yeah, because they're still, if they have 3.5 hours of amazing footage and they still and they're reshooting a whole third act.
And who, by the way, who says that if you're not cutting it into two movies? I mean, this isn't going to be a 3.5 hour brutalist type of movie, right? You only even mention that you still have 3.5 hours of footage if you're planning to make two movies.
Exactly, 100% correct. So yeah, that's the logic I would think as well, and especially if you're going to reshoot a whole third act, which is probably 45 minutes to an hour possibly on a large ass biopic like this. So that's going to definitely add even more time to the movie. So I'm sure there's going to be a director's cut of Michael that'll be released on a home video release or something, because I imagine this one's going to be cut down to fit a 2-part release, but then eventually added footage will be part of it as well. But yeah, that's crazy. It's certainly, the slot is open now, so for an event film in May, so that would make a lot of sense to have Michael move into that slot.
I mean, Lionsgate practically pioneered this with the Hunger Games stuff. So
that's right.
I don't think that they're terribly afraid of cutting a movie in two.
Yeah.
And they need it out there sooner rather than later. They can't maybe even wait for the whole 3.5 hour chunk to be finished.
Yeah.
Like, this is a movie sitting on their books.
That's a good point. Yes, absolutely. Well, what a way to start the show. We're 10 minutes in already, and all this stuff is going on that we're talking about.
Guy is falling all around us, but we can see the connections. We can see the dots, the red strings. Johnny, look at this tan. I've been out at the pool all day.
I can't.
All week, really. I'm darker than you.
And rightfully so. I've had to stay out of the sun recently because of I had, for those of you wondering, because you're asking in the chat, I had eye surgery yesterday to remove astigmatism and some cataracts that had gone in my left eye from years and years of just poor vision. And I have to wear the sunglasses because the light's right on my eyes for the next 2 to 3 days. But yes, that's why I'm in sunglasses. That's why Jeff come for the pool. That's why he's in shades and he's looking good there. Brooklyn says Jeff is now a minority. That's
guns
right.
Out, guns out, baby. No, I'm just I'm trying to brand myself as the Pat McAfee of movie talk.
Oh, I love it. You got to stand up on the chair, and you got to get Tom Cruise to show up on your show like he did yesterday. For
those
today.
pink trunks on, baby.
For McAfee, respect, man, respect. All right. Well, I mean, we're going to stay in the Marvel situation here, Jeff. Let's move on. I just want to remind you, we've got 500 of you watching us live right now. Thank you so much. Send in your love as we go on throughout the show. Streamlabs and Super Chats. You see the Streamlab address above Jeff's head, streamlabs.com/John Rocha says. You can also send in your Super Chats as well as we go along. Got 6 of them so far. Let's get those up to 50 for God's sakes. But let's move on to Spider-Man 4 and let us know your thoughts on Avengers Doomsday and Michael, the Michael biopic, possibly moving to take those slots. Jeff, Marvel, Spider-Man 4, which is a brand new day, which is slated to be released in July of 2026, is expected to start shooting sometime in August. But this account on Instagram, Trust Higashi, took to Instagram to reveal that they'd attended the 2025 edition of Disney's Consumer Products event. And he claims that Disney confirmed that 3 villains would appear in Spider-Man 4. Scorpion, who was teased in at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. Lonnie Lincoln / Tombstone, who we saw recently in the Spider-Man animated series. And Frederick Myers, Boomerang. So you'll get Tombstone, Scorpion, and Boomerang is the rumor. And there were also rumors that Steven Yeun would play Lee / Mr. Negative, but people are complaining that hiring a Korean actor in Steven Yeun to play a Chinese villain would be a controversial move on Marvel and Sony's part, although I don't know if those rules even apply anymore nowadays. But it would also be odd for them to reveal this, Jeff, at an event that is not Sony related. It is Disney related, but it is Disney merchandising. So did they kind of slip in between the cracks and release this stuff ahead of time on purpose? What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe it?
I don't even know if it's real. I mean, you know, did they say these are the villains in Spider-Man Brand New Day, or like these are the villains in Spider-Man as in Spider Noir or some Spider-Man TV show that? You know, I just don't know if that's legit or not.
The guy claims that Disney confirmed 3 villains would appear in Spider-Man 4. So confirmed that it would be in Spider-Man 4 specifically. So, but
I mean, they don't sound like very good villains, and it doesn't jive with the information that I've heard.
That's why I'm asking.
As far as the gender of the at least one of the villains,
right, being female, right?
Yeah. So I don't know about any of that.
Okay. Have you heard anything more on Spider-Man 4 at all? Anything more casting wise? Anything more script?
No, I feel like you know more than I do about that one. You're very plugged in.
Well, I just mean I know about the villains there because I know that obviously Scorpion we saw at the end of Homecoming, and there's always been talks about putting together the Serpent Society or the Secret Six. Tombstone makes a lot of sense. So does Boomerang, but it all depends on what angle they want to take with all these villains. And Jeff, I thought are we going to get overstuffed? Are we going to have all of these villains plus Tobey Maguire plus possibly Andrew Lincoln?
Well,
like
it is a Spider-Man. It is a Spider-Man movie, and those tend to be a little overstuffed as far as
Sadie Sink. I didn't even mention Sadie Sink, Jeff.
Who is Michael Mandos the Scorpion?
Yes. Right. Yeah.
I mean, does he come back or did they recast?
Well, I mean, it's MCU. It was in the MCU, Spider-Man Homecoming. So
yeah, well, so was Jonathan Majors. I mean,
wow, but that's different. I mean, did Jonathan do anything like that, like Jonathan Majors did?
I mean, we don't know what Mando did. I think I have maybe an idea. But I'd heard that Mando was going to be that in the Star Wars universe as the role that Manny Jacinto is playing.
Oh, interesting.
I heard that was going to be Mando before it went to Manny.
Okay.
What happened is that, that he got into it with Brian Tyree Henry.
Ooh.
On the set of Dope Thief.
Why would you do that?
Right. And then he was replaced by Wagner Moura.
Oh.
Yeah, like there was a recasting on that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And I don't know how much Mando has worked since then. I'd have to like look it up, but I'd be surprised if he actually came back.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess I hear your point, but I mean, actors fighting, that's so low level on bar
Yeah, I think
working, right?
I'm not saying just fighting. I think that there was like a word involved.
Oh, I see.
And
Yeah,
not the word we'll talk about later with David O. Russell.
that idiot. Yeah, well,
a different kind of slur.
He was on Better Call Saul up until 2022. Then he's got nothing in his IMDb until something called King Ivory, which came out last year. But he does have The Circle in pre-production, and Criminal completed 8 episodes of that show.
Okay, so he did land on Criminal. He is working.
Yeah, with Charlie Hunnam. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. I tend to believe the toy merchandising stuff because it rarely has ever been wrong. And as recently as Thunderbolts, it's rarely ever been wrong in So I don't know how the logic goes with this. Do the merchandise and toy people just do their own thing and fuck what anyone else thinks about how they're going to release stuff over here on the movie and TV side of things? Is that the situation there? And was this person representing a company, therefore released it? And did this person risk his job by releasing this information? Because I wonder if Disney was like, don't reveal this like they are with trailers. So it's an odd situation if it is the truth. What did you think?
Maybe they didn't care because it's a Sony movie.
Yeah, maybe that's possible too. What did you think about the reports recently about the guy who snuck onto the set of Doomsday for a whole day and was like taking pictures and posting videos on TikTok and revealing spoilers? I didn't read any of the spoilers, but a lot of people chimed in afterwards saying that some of that sounded verifiably true. So what'd you think about that, man? Did you hear that story?
I heard that there was someone on the set taking photos. I saw some of the stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really look too deeply or want to know. I mean, on one hand, it's like you got to tip your cap to him for being intrepid and getting the shots that the world wants or whatever. But on the other, it's like this seems like kind of a dick move.
Massive dick move. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like just spoiling the movie for no real reason.
Just for attention.
Like imagine being a reporter and getting to like spend the day on the set and do like an exclusive set visit.
Yeah.
Are you going to go and blast all the photos on social media? Like even if you hadn't signed something that said you wouldn't do that? No, I don't think you would. So yeah, it seemed like bullshit to me, but not like, fake, but just like kind of bullshit. Right. But if you're Marvel, you got to have better security. I mean, how is someone allowed to do this?
That's the question I have is like, how could he get on the set? Who helped him get on the set? How the hell is that possible? So yeah, a lot of questions surrounding that kind of stuff. Woof. All right. So we'll see what happens with that. Anything more you want to say on the Marvel thing? Is there any casting, any news, any else you're hearing up in the air? Anything, catching your attention?
No, not that I can think of. For me, it was just that little like Ghost Rider tidbit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to check. All right. Well, let's move on to another story here, Jeff. I don't have a picture for this one, but let's move on to other superhero stuff. The Penguin. Let's talk about this. The Penguin. A lot of people this week were speculating that perhaps the Penguin season 2 is not going to happen here because, and I know you might scoff at this, because I know you love to scoff at this stuff, because HBO has submitted the Penguin for a limited series awards at the Emmys rather than outstanding drama series. And for those who don't know, limited implies it's only for that time that you got the series. Outstanding drama series implies that it could have multiple seasons, right? And there have been other shows like Big Little Lies and I think White Lotus that were submitted for limited series and then got more seasons. So do you think with everything that's going on with the Batman Part 2, with this possibility that Reeves might be off, which you said possibly by the end of the year, and now this Penguin being submitted only for limited series, that we're looking at small steps leading us to eventually them shutting down this side of the DCU? Or is this bullshit that people are just extrapolating this?
Yeah, I think people are reading too much into it. I think that as a network, you can play dumb. I mean, you can submit for limited and be like, yeah, we had no plans to make season 2. And then it got nominated for all these Emmys. And we were like, all right, we'll do season 2.
Right.
I mean, and that's not on the TV Academy. Can't be like, well, we're taking back the nominations then. So this is just about award strategy. It's, is the Penguin more likely to be nominated for limited series or for drama? And I know that there's more slots in drama, but it's a limited series, and it, I think, stands a better chance in limited series. And it may even be like, listen, we know that this isn't going to win limited or drama,
Right.
but where can Colin Farrell best compete? Does Colin Farrell want to be up against Noah Wyle or Stephen Graham from Adolescence, who's only in 2 episodes of that show?
Right.
So I think it's that kind of a thing. You're not just thinking about the show; you're thinking about how it's going to affect everybody else,
right?
And you're trying to maximize the number of nominations and wins. It's the same thing. In fact, I can't talk about the movie yet. Can't wait to. But Mountainhead is a movie that was announced in February, like and shot in March, and it's going to be out next week.
Yeah.
Now, why rush Mountainhead? Like, what is the point of this, of doing that and rushing it out? Well, it's to make it out by the end of May, which is when the Emmy cutoff is.
Right.
Simply because they're probably looking at the TV movie category, being like, we can get a nomination and might even win an Emmy.
Right. Which is what a lot of people are speculating the reasons were behind, and or being released in 3-episode chunk or 3-episode chunks, because it would be done in time for voting for the Emmy.
They have a certain number of episodes, I think, done before the cutoff. So
exactly. That's
obviously awards matter. And so the dating. I've always thought that the Emmy TV calendar is so fucking weird. The decisions are absolutely made with that in mind. And I don't think. I'm not ready to say like the Penguin 2 is definitely happening, but with him not doing Sergeant Rock anymore, Colin.
Yeah.
I don't know how well those movies are going to do this fall. Or at least, his Sony movie. I think that could be an uphill battle. I think that the Netflix movie will fare better with awards. But he may be like, I need, I want another hit. I mean, I think he enjoys playing the character. He just hates all the fucking time and makeup.
That's what he said. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to put on and to focus on, and then to carry around all day. And he said even playing the character got to him emotionally and mentally, that he had to take like some downtime to himself to kind of get that character out of his body. So there's a lot of there's a lot of commitment he puts into creating that character. So I wouldn't be surprised. But what are you feeling now? What are you feeling right now about the Matt Reeves Batman verse? Where are you at right now, Jeff, on May 22nd of 2025?
I mean, I'd be surprised if he directed the movie alone. I'd be surprised if he directed the movie alone.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
If he remains on board as a director, why isn't it conceivable that he could have a co-director, particularly James Gunn?
Oh, wow, Matt Reeves, James Gunn co-production of the Batman Part 2. I don't know. It could be anybody. It could be,
I was going to write a column about it and I opted against it. But I'll tell you who's just hanging out there in the wind.
Go ahead.
Mr. Sam Raimi.
Ooh, no. Stop it.
Sam Raimi did the Spider-Man movies. Darkman was basically based on Batman. I think Warner Brothers sees that he's not necessarily in business with any one studio. He has, I think it's 20th is putting out his Rachel McAdams movie.
Yeah.
Early next year. But if Warner Brothers made a play for Raimi, I think that could be an interesting addition to the DCU. And I think he'd be the kind of person who, just like with Doctor Strange, came in like at the last minute, came in on late notice to replace Derrickson relatively late in the game. I don't know. We'll see.
I would hate that. He's a director still stuck in the 1990s. No one wants to watch Dutch angles in the Batman Part 2. And he ruined Multiverse of Madness, which is a horrible movie. So
that is a horrible movie.
I would not want him anywhere near my project. I'll tell you this, though. I would look at Aronofsky. I would start knocking on that door for Aronofsky and see what he's got going on, right? Or, that's the one guy that comes to mind that I think could pick up the Matt Reeves aesthetic without missing a beat.
Again, it's hard to talk about this Matt Reeves situation without saying what's going on, and I'm not going to say what's going on.
I was going to say,
So, but I have a hard time imagining him devoting the next 2 years of his life to that movie.
Yeah, Fair point. DeJet, we already know, brother. We talked about it at the top of the show, my man. So thanks for catching up. Thanks for being here with us, though. But we did talk about in the first 5-10 minutes of the show about the delays and gave our thoughts on that. So if you guys want to rewind back to the beginning, you can. Another part of this Batman Part 2, and now I have a picture for it. Jeff, according to Humberto Gonzalez over at The Wrap, somebody we both know and talk to, an insider with knowledge of the project told him that Reeves has, quote, been sending pages for more than half a year and that the full first draft of the script is expected to be delivered by Memorial Day. That's this weekend. That's Monday. The film was originally set to hit theaters in October. And Pattinson said recently, I know what it's about now. Matt Reeves is a very special, careful writer, but I finally know now what it's all about. It's very cool and I'm very excited. Even Andy Serkis this week was talking about, I need Alfred's character pumped up more. I need him to be a bigger part of the movie. Is he teasing that he's already seen the script and he knows that Alfred is going to be a bigger part of the movie? So it looks like he suggested it and they followed his suggestion. What are your thoughts on all of this? In terms, do you believe Humberto? Do you believe his source, rather, telling him that this is what's been going on?
I mean, I know that there is a script that Robert Pattinson has seen, whether it's a full script or 90 of the 120 pages, you know? So, yes, I believe that he's been sending pages to the people who want to see the pages and need to see the pages.
Right.
Okay, so if I don't know, see, I don't know if I would have done this story, but it's interesting, I guess, to get an update in terms of the timing that the script is expected this weekend. But it's a first draft, right?
Yeah.
It's still a first draft.
Is it? Is it a first draft? I mean, I would imagine this would have gone through multiple revisions.
But then the script would have been turned in if it, revisions based on what? Revisions based on executive notes. And
if this is a first draft and they're supposed to go into production very soon, Jeff.
That's what I'm saying. And now Warner Brothers obviously doesn't mind doing this because look at Sinners.
Right.
And some people, you'll have one group of people says, yeah, look at Sinners. Look at how that did. They just trusted the artist, let him shoot what he wanted. Right. And it made it made money. Or you could look at Sinners the way I look at Sinners, where, it made a lot of money, but from a writing standpoint, this, I think, needed more time in the oven.
Yeah.
So do you pull this movie out of the oven a little early in order to, make a date or whatever?
Yeah.
Then again, maybe Matt Reeves writes, and Ryan Coogler, for all I know, write incredible first drafts. And their first draft is tantamount to a writer's third or fourth draft, a regular writer.
Yeah, that's a good point. That may be possible. All right. I could see that. Okay. All right. So just wanted to get your thoughts on that, on the Batman side of things. So just a reminder, we're 30 minutes into the show. We have almost 800 of you joining us live. We appreciate you madly. Matt Ramos asked me what the hell I was wearing. Well, I'm wearing sunglasses because I had eye surgery yesterday, y'all. So I can't stand the lights in my eyes without it giving me a headache. So I have to wear these shades. So please excuse the way I look. These will not be on my face next week, but thank you for
understanding. You should wear them next week. I figured that my star power would just blind you.
No, because I feel like I look like a guy who just finished working on your car that's up on blocks in my driveway. That's what I feel like. I
definitely look like a hitman of some kind, or Kenny Powers.
Kenny, probably much more Kenny Powers than Hitman, at least at where I'm at now at this stage. But Jeff, let's get into something really fucking weird. Let's talk about this ballerina embargo nonsense that is happening. Apparently, Lionsgate sent out an email to the press with embargo information concerning ballerina. The message reads that spoiler-free enthusiasm on social media is allowed starting on May 22nd. However, critical social sentiment and formal reviews are embargoed until June 4th. And we know that this film has been reshot by Chad Stahelski. We know that it's got an uphill battle now, but what the fuck is this nonsense from Lionsgate telling you that only positive reviews are allowed on this date, and then you got to shut the fuck up until June 4th if you didn't like the movie? This is beyond madness to me. What are your thoughts on this?
So I reached out to Lionsgate insiders.
Okay.
And they assured me that this is a miscommunication.
Oh, is it?
And that when the first embargo lifts, for all the critics who are invited, the 7 people,
yes,
you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay, so they apparently, this email did not go out from Lionsgate. It went out via Brigade,
Okay.
the marketing company.
Yes.
And apparently Brigade has been calling each critic who was invited, who received this invite, calling them to clarify and say you can actually, react positively or negatively, so long as you don't, so long as it's spoiler free. Okay. That was sort of the big thing for that Lionsgate stress, was like the first wave of reactions, it's embargoed from spoilers, is really what we meant. And then, you can talk about, more spoilery stuff later.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up the email because
I know.
I mean, we got to talk, because I'm going to tell you right now, that is in the words of Jeff Sneider, those excuses are absolute bullshit. I have been in this business for 10 plus years. Jeff, longer than me, has been in this business. We know when these emails go out, they are carefully vetted by publicists, by the people. You don't have to be a studio publicist to be intelligent about how to word emails. Let's take a look at this thing. It says, we encourage spoiler-free enthusiasts. This is the actual email that was sent out. These were not words that were created by like just some random computer program. These are not AI. These are publicists who vet this thing and sent it out to critics. Calling critics and going, you know what? It was a first draft and we were still workshopping this email and it got sent out, which is essentially what they're saying, is utter horseshit. They tried to get away with this. They got called out because critics posted it, because studios think, well, these fuckers are swinging from our D because they're so desperate to watch our movies and get attention and get clicks and likes and engagement for their social media, their reviews. They're going to do what we tell them to do. This is ridiculous, man. I know you may hate me saying this, but this is like Trumpian level bullshit. Was like, no, you're not allowed to say anything until then. This is a great, big, beautiful movie. Don't say shit until June 4th. This is nonsense. And Lionsgate at times trolls down in the bottom of the barrel in the way they do some of their content and the way they treat some of the people who come to see their movies. So to me, it doesn't surprise me that Lionsgate tried this bullshit and it blew up in their face.
Well, I'm 100% with you, and which is why I, talked to the insiders, because I called and it was like, what the fuck is this? Right? I actually spoke up and went back to the studio, and I'm not someone who was involved. I wasn't invited to this or anything.
Right.
I saw it that, G-Baby posted it. I can't call him Jermaine. I have to call him G-Baby.
G-Baby Lucier? Is that what
I love him. So G-Baby posted it. He didn't identify the movie, though, so I had to ask some other folks what movie it was for. And yeah, as soon as I heard what it was like, I went straight to the studio and was like, what is going on here? Because it's disgusting. I mean, it's just totally disrespectful to critics. But of course, how many of them were going to go along with it, right? Devin Fauci did a great piece on this today. And he's like, if you were going to go along with this, you're a hack.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you have to push back, which is what I've been, saying for how long on the show. Yeah. We have the power.
We have the power. Yes.
We have the audience.
100%.
If you had the audience, you wouldn't need us to disseminate the message.
Exactly.
Okay? They need the press more really than the press needs them. And I'm just disgusted, I'm not so surprised by the level of control that the studios want to wield over the critics. I'm more surprised by the level of control that the critics allow themselves to give to the studios. Because everyone is afraid of saying the wrong thing, of not being invited to the next thing, of not getting the access, of not getting the interview. And it's fucking nuts. And that's why I don't care anymore.
Yep.
Fuck it, dude.
Yep.
You want to give me Jack Houston and Paul Walter Hauser, the only 2 interviews I've done in almost 2 years of the Insnider. Yeah. So that takes balls. No one else, especially on a studio level, has offered me talent. I can do a better interview than 95% of the Junketeers. Yeah. Some of them do a great job. Perry does a great job. Ash Crossan does a great job. But some of the Junketeers, it's just nuts. And it's because they don't know that they have the power to push back.
Oh, no. They know that they have the power to push back. They don't want to push back because they're invested in upping their attention for themselves. And even the people you name don't really push back, do they? Perry got in trouble for not pushing back on what that person said at Skeleton Crew about the Death Star, right? Everyone came after her for not correcting him, right? No, I didn't think it was right to go after her for that, because she's got to get through a junket interview. She doesn't have time to correct, and it'd be kind of rude to correct someone. But also, I can't deny that she probably was a little afraid she might, mess up something with Lucasfilm or Disney. That's a legitimate concern for certain people at a certain level,
These are
right?
different things that we're talking about, correcting talent in the middle of an interview,
right,
and doing a review for a studio.
Well, I think both things can go hand in hand because you were worried about losing connections or your status or whatever. I mean, Jeff, we can't live in fantasy land. These people who are at the top are invested in maintaining their status because they like the ego stroke and they like the salary that they make. So they're not going to push back. But that's why we built our show.
It's this
to be able to push
movement. It's this movement to eradicate the critic and just get eyeballs via influencers, via people who have even 100%. Large audiences and critics. I mean, I think I have a pretty sizable audience on Twitter.
You do.
When I look up the average, comedian or whoever, influencer, they have way more.
Right. Sure.
And they haven't been breaking news for 20 years. They're just posting silly videos or, showing their boobs or something, whatever it is. And it's like they're having this conversation right now in stand-up comedy as well. This comedian I follow, Gabby Lamb, who's hilarious. She was going on and on about how like these reality TV stars are now booking stage time in comedy clubs because they have a following.
Yes.
Right. And they can sell tickets. And that's what these comedy clubs ultimately care about, not about who's necessarily funny. Right. And I think the same thing is happening in film criticism, where it's not even about who's a good critic or who has like a sense of film history. It's just, I see people at these screenings, they'll take a video, sometimes a photo, often a video of the beginning of the movie, and then they'll leave 5 minutes after. Yeah. And then you go on the story and it's like, I had an amazing time at this premiere. They posted the video for the first 5 minutes and then they walked out.
Yeah.
Just
and if you call them out, then they'll send their army of sycophantic fans after you to try to bomb all your stuff and comment on all your stuff. So even if you called them out, it's not worth it to mess with that. But see, and this is the studio is absolutely low key supporting this critics versus fans civil war that has been happening over the last few years. Because studios want to fool the fans to get into the theater to see whatever schlock they make or good thing they make so they can make as much money as possible on that opening weekend. They have gamed the system to get influencers in there. And you see publicists do this all the time and some of them apologize, which you can see it on their faces. I've talked to publicists who are like, oh my God, I can't believe we got to invite these influencers because they come in and they talk. They're rude as fuck. They're on their phones. They don't care, like legitimately don't care about providing being a good audience member and just watching the movie and not attracting attention to themselves. That's not how they built their brand. And they'll say, I have 100,000 followers, so fuck you for trying to tell me to behave differently. So it is that kind of nonsense you're dealing with. And studios love that because those people aren't going in with legitimate critical analytical skills to go after movies. It's us.
It's no different than, I mean, it's a little different, but it's a lot like the Puff Daddy trial and people wearing the free Puff shirts outside. These are paid performers.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And that's the thing that's driving me nuts is like, we now live in a world where I can't trust my own eyes. Are these people actors? Is this AI? Are these people being genuine? And that's why a show like ours continues to resonate. My newsletter resonates because we're authentic and we're just like bringing and you actually know that we're being authentic because it's costing us something. Okay. I didn't get that ballerina invite for a reason.
Right.
Okay. Because I'm not perceived by Brigade as an easy lay and their job is to deliver good reviews.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think that's, and the same goes for me. I have almost 40,000 subscribers. You might say that's nothing, but there's plenty of people with 5,000 subscribers or 3,000 or 7,000 on their YouTube channel, yet somehow they're interviewing the higher end talent. Why? Because they're not the ones that are going to rock the boat. They're not going to ask uncomfortable questions, or they might not put certain things out there about the studio or the film or the critic or the actors or the director that'll embarrass them. And so, this has been the slow turn. I mean, I saw this happening before I left Collider. This idea was removed from Collider, rather. It was this idea that studios wanted to essentially create these or turn these sites into extensions of their PR departments for all of their movies. And listen, a lot of these sites have done that. A lot of these sites have been soft on their reviews, soft on their criticism, aren't calling for studios to be more diverse anymore. Like, a lot has changed over the last few years, and these sites have benefited from it because the public goes and gives them hundreds of thousands to millions of clicks a month because they march out their puff piece stuff on the studios.
And the sites are all too happy to do it. A lot of them are led by people who accept trips year round.
Yeah.
And are flown to exotic cities to do incredible things.
Yeah.
I understand. It's like, shit, who would say no to that?
Yeah.
The problem to me in participating is that is like, if you think that event is newsworthy, you should be paying for it, right? Your editorial operation should be paying for it. And instead, so many of these places, I mean, obviously you can't afford that, let alone to do it every month. And so the studios just pay for it. And if the studio is paying for it, then they're expecting something in return. And the journalists feel obligated to give that to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was approached to go on a junket before I left, and they were like, well, we'd like you to be, we'd like you to give your honest thoughts, but also, give thoughts that maybe are a little more positive about it. So it was like insinuated in that way. And I was like, if I'm going, you're going to get my honest thoughts, whether you like it or not. Like, I just have always said that from the beginning. And that's why I never want to be a part of a site anymore. I don't want to work for another outlet ever that isn't about letting us have freedom and creative control to talk about the things as we honestly believe they are, and review things as we honestly believe they are, without worrying about losing connections to the studios or the precious actors or directors. And it's why I hate the hero worship that we have going on ad nauseum all the time now with all of these creatives. Like, cut it the fuck out. Like, cut it out. Just honestly analyze and honestly look at the things they're doing, other than Tom Cruise, because that's my personal ad nauseum. But other than Tom Cruise, everyone else is going to get my honest opinions and analysis of the situation. So, yeah. But I agree with you. People go on these junkets but they want us, or people go on these trips and they want us to believe that they're going to come back and give you their honest opinions on things. And I don't know if I necessarily believe that anymore. So
I get that not every journalist is supposed to go in there throwing heaters.
No, of course not.
And asking the tough questions, right? Like, we all have a role to play, and each of our sites cater to a different audience, and some of those audiences are just like, what game are we playing this week with the celebrities in the 3-minute slot of the junket? That is the job of some of these people. It's let's find a fun game to play. But I'm
cool with that. That's fine. But don't turn around and try to tell me that you're a reviewer, or an honest reviewer, or a critic. If you're
that's where the blur is.
Exactly. Let's play with puppies for 5 minutes, but then you're going to give me your real opinion of the movie? Bullshit. Bullshit. No, I don't believe you, and nor will I ever.
Again, Devin wrote a great thing today on his Substack or whatever.
I will read it.
Devin Faraci. Yeah, it's called Lionsgate is John Wicking film criticism.
You killed my dog, which is Ballerina, so now I'm coming after you. But just to wrap this up, doesn't this say that Lionsgate has an utter fear of how bad this movie is going to bomb? How bad this movie actually is?
They have a lot riding on it. I'm sure that they're a little nervous. I've heard pretty mixed things myself.
Yeah.
And that's to be generous. But listen, they're just trying to control it to the best of their ability. And if people are going to give them that control, it'd be silly for them not to try and take it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not really blaming Lionsgate for behaving like a studio. I'm blaming critics for mindless.
Right. That's actually an excellent point.
It was nice to see some pushback today, finally, from that community.
Yeah, that's an excellent point you bring up, Jeff. The studios are trying to do what they need to do in order to make money, because they're a business. Business. Critics, on the other hand, are something else. And critics are the ones, legitimate critics, are the ones who are supposed to push back when studios try to control the response they're going to have to those movies or TV shows, or cajole them into giving positive reviews. If you accept that from a studio, you are no longer a critic. You're not a critic. Don't stop calling yourself a critic. Stop calling yourself a reviewer. You're not a critic. You're not. You're bought and paid for PR person. That's the difference. And that should be the truth of that situation. All right. Anyway, let's move on to another controversial situation. Let's talk about this, Jeff. David O. Russell, who can't seem to have a peaceful set, which I asked you a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even last week, what's going to be the kerfuffle on this set? Well, we didn't have to wait long. Apparently, according to Jordan Rumi at World of Real, tensions flared on set after David O. Russell allegedly used the N-word during and it's not nuclear, during a spontaneous monologue workshop, prompting one actor and several others to walk off. Sources on the set say the actor, who had been workshopping the scene with Russell, took immediate offense, leading to a disruption in the shoot, which then led to half a team of actors, all playing football players, to walk out and protest. Sources close to production say the actor who triggered the walkout was wearing an earpiece, with Russell feeding him lines during a loosely improvised monologue. Things reportedly went south when Russell began inserting the N-word into the dialogue. Russell apparently lost his temper when the actor refused to repeat it and started shouting, "Just fucking say it." And the filmmaker is also said to have belittled other actors on set who backed away from the scene. I wish I'd been on that set. I'd have knocked him flat on his ass. This is nuts to me, this situation. He is such a little whiny, skinny ass bitch. How is no one knocking him the fuck out besides George Clooney? This is insane to me. Jeff, your thoughts on this? And why are white people obsessed with saying the N-word all the time? For fuck's sake, talk to me.
You're not going to like this.
Good. Let's go. It's been a while since we battled. Go ahead, Jeff.
Listen, I think that it sounds from what I've heard that David O. Russell was in the wrong. Okay.
Yes, he was.
That he went about this the wrong way. Okay.
Yes.
Having said that.
Oh boy.
If this is a period piece.
Yes.
Okay. And the N-word was flying in left and right in that period of time.
Sure.
Especially on a football field or whatever.
Sure.
I have no problem with the director saying, I want the N-word included in this monologue.
Okay.
Okay. That is called a creative choice.
It is.
It's not a choice made out of hate, I don't think.
I don't know.
It's a creative choice trying to make a movie more authentic. Now, Tarantino gets a little bit of a pass with this. He gets more leeway, but someone had told me an interesting story about with Django and how he'd basically gotten not that Sam Jackson speaks for all black people, but he'd gotten Sam Jackson's blessing for the N-word to be said as often and as sort of meanly and just cruelly as it's used in Django Unchained. Yeah,
because that's what it's profiling. That's what it's slavery and white people owning slaves at that time. So yes.
And I don't think David O. Russell really prepared his cast maybe for the use of this word. If it was in the script, okay, and there's so many things that we don't know here. First of all, we don't know the actor.
We don't know that. No.
We don't know the line or the context of the line.
Or the number of lines.
It's just the word, okay?
Right.
And again, we don't know those things. I think that David O. Russell needed to, if it was in the script, then the actor should have been prepared to read it. If it wasn't in the script, then David O. Russell shouldn't have just surprised everybody with the improvisation.
Right.
But if he wants that word used, what is he supposed to do? Call over someone who's black to say, hey, can you say this word? He's the director. He's giving instruction. He's directing.
But
so if he wants the word used, what's he supposed to say?
But this is an improvised monologue. So it wasn't in the script. It's an improvised monologue. And David O. Russell, as a white director, took it upon himself to assume that this player would use the N-word in this improvised monologue talking to other black players. If those actors are playing black players and they stood up and walked out, David O. Russell yelling at his actor to just fucking say it.
That's the problem, John.
That's the end of the conversation.
You got to have a private conversation with that actor or the group of actors in that scene and say, hey, this is what it was like on the football field back then. This is the language that our research says was frequently used. And in an effort to make the most authentic movie, we're going to use the same language. If you can't handle that, then you're not the right actor for the scene.
Exactly. But also,
but to do it the way that he did, it wasn't good. Sorry, go ahead.
Have some self-awareness. Have a conversation with the actor ahead of time. Hey, listen, this is or stop and if you want to use the N-word, stop the improvisation and don't give me this artistic bullshit. He was on a run and he's not going to capture the moment anymore. No, pull him aside and you say to him, hey, listen, this is the thing I'm thinking about. Are you uncomfortable with this? Let's have the conversation. That little dweeb went off and started to use the N-word and thought he could manipulate a black actor to use a word he was uncomfortable with. And a bunch of black actors. I'm concerned why white actors didn't walk off the set if there were any white actors on set in solidarity with the black actors, because that word should not be used.
Well, we don't know that they didn't. We don't know. We didn't get a list of who walked off the set. So there may have been white actors in solidarity.
The reports did not say that, so I'm just assuming, but I hope that isn't the case. You're right, Jeff. We don't know. But that being said, I think that obviously the smarter way is just to pull them aside, have the conversation. Just like you said, Samuel L. and Twinton had the conversation. Even Dicaprio did not want to say, white man did not want to say the word because he felt it was inappropriate. And they had to talk to him to get him to say it. And Samuel had to say it was okay. That's what the reports say, that it was okay for him to say it. And that allowed Dicaprio to really say it. So
I think everyone on set was ready for it and prepared for it and embraced themselves or mentally prepared themselves to and emotionally prepared themselves to hear it.
Right.
Again, that's where the problem is here. But this is a different argument than because I see so many commenters right now saying just don't say the word. That I don't agree with.
Well, that's fair because this is the 1970s. And, the Raiders were not really known for being political.
I play basketball on the weekend with a bunch of black guys.
Yeah.
Okay? I hear the word all the time.
I agree.
Okay. It's 2025.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend that the word is never used.
No, I know. And I try to stop Winston saying it on Spill the Tequila because we always get our ads limited when he uses the N-word. So, yes, I agree with you. The N-word is very liberally used by some black people in our communities and artistic communities for sure. And certainly in the 1970s on the Raiders, I'm sure that word was used by black men addressing each other. But
so when people say, just don't use the word, I'm like, that seems like you're just whitewashing the era and
right.
It doesn't seem authentic to me.
I think it has to be situationally dependent, as you said, depending on the creative approach of the project that you're making.
Right. Is somebody being called the N-word with a hard R, or is it just, again, we don't know what was said. We don't know if he put an A or an R on it, David O. Russell. Yeah. So it's hard to say. I don't want to just, David O. Russell fucked up and look, he has a history of fuck up, so fuck that guy. I think that there's more nuance to it, as I normally do, and that makes me the asshole.
Well, I think there's more nuance. I think more people understand nuance. They're just not loud about it, Jeff. Delta Dan,
maybe they understand, but
such BS. No one white person was alive for this. No one was alive in the 1970s when no white person was alive in the 1970s when the Raiders were playing. I'm confused. White people those have slaves anyway. Oh my God. And I'm Mexican. Oh Lord. Cut it out. Cut it out, you guys. Cut it out. It's hard. The fence post dumb ones are hard to get across the line to understand nuance. Those are the differences in a situation like this. So when you get these comments, you just go, oh my God, what is going on? All right. So anything more to say on that, Jeff, or shall we move on?
I think we can move on.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to some casting news. What's your thoughts on Street Fighter here? Apparently, Andrew Koji, who we saw on Billet Train, Jason Momoa, who we just saw in a movie that's about to cross $1 billion in Minecraft, Noah Centineo, who was just recently in Warfare, but also in that ill-fated Black Adam movie, and Roman Reigns, recently one of the top WWE superstars to hold the belt, one of the longest, I think the longest, he broke Hogan's record, are coming together possibly in talks to star in Legendary's live-action Street Fighter movie under the direction of Bad Trip's Katayo Sukari. So, Jeff, do you like this combo of people if this is the combo of people they're looking at because they're still in talks? Or do you hear more?
For a Street Fighter movie, sure. I think Momoa is obviously a good place to start.
100%.
Centennial is, a young up-and-coming actor. He's no better or worse than guys like Kyle Allen, who is going to play He-Man, or Nicholas Galatine, who's playing He-Man now.
Right.
I like him more than Galatine, actually. I don't know really Roman Reigns because I'm not a big wrestling guy, but that announcement did absolutely huge numbers.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so disappointed to lose it. Although it sounds like Daniel Rickman had actually rumored Roman for weeks now.
Yes.
I missed that. But yeah, he's going to be playing Akuma from, that's my understanding. And I think, he brings the WWE fan base to that movie. So it seems like a smart move to get him. Andrew Koji, I think if they, he's fine. He'll do fine.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about the WWE right now, and for people who don't follow it, this isn't the 1980s or then even the 1990s anymore, where you've got WWE people and they try to do movies and it's like the Marine 7 or some shit. Like, we have Batista, we have The Rock now, who is veering clearly, which we might get to. I don't know if we have time, veering into trying to be taken more seriously as an actor. You've got John Cena. These are not the days. This is not Suburban Commando days anymore. See, the idea of Jason Momoa, Roman Reigns jumping over from the WWE to be part of a big movie like this is not out of the realm of possibility anymore. And it certainly makes sense as a transition because the WWE, since they've been purchased by Endeavor and TKO, are absolutely trying to make much more inroads in the entertainment side of the business, whether it be on ESPN or in feature films. So it's not a surprise that Roman Reigns would be open for doing this, and the WWE would be 100% behind it happening.
Did he just step away from wrestling, or is he retiring? What's the deal?
No, he had a long run with the belts. They wanted to focus on Cody Rhodes. He's also a guy who has suffered leukemia, so he has these bouts, and certainly that's taken a lot out of his body. So he was a guy that didn't wrestle a lot. There would be months would go by before he'd wrestle, defend his title, and it's because they were saving his body. So I think he's looking at his life post wrestling and is going to open the door to acting because he is The Rock's nephew or second cousin, twice removed, something like that. And so he understands what the avenue could be for him. So
this is a good vehicle for him. And
yes, 100%.
It seems like this movie will have a bit of a budget behind it, and obviously some decent stars, right, with Momoa. So it's better than Scorpion King or 2 or 3, whatever.
Right, but even that was like the beginning of the possibility of more, right? Which is why that's the kind of film you would get from The Rock. But if someone was coming out of the WWE now with legitimate potential, you wouldn't be in a Scorpion King movie, right? You'd be in something like this. And so it's clearly happening piece by piece. I mean, Batista did a lot of terrible straight to DVD movies until he made that leap as he got better as an actor. So nowadays you can just make that leap because the WWE now has a reputation for having good actors coming out of being wrestlers into the entertainment field. So yeah, smart move. Let's talk about Hunger Games casting, Jeff. Kieran Culkin is apparently following up his Oscar win with a spot in the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. He's been cast as Caesar Flickman, which is, of course, Stanley Tucci's role that he was in 4 of the movies playing. But you've also got Joseph Zada, Whitney Peak, McKenna Grace, Jesse Plemons, who is playing the Philip Seymour Hoffman character, Kelvin Harrison Jr., Maya Hawke, Lily Taylor, and Ben Wang. That is a lot of people here involved in this. And Ray Fiennes, who is
Elle Fanning.
And Elle Fanning, I was getting to, yes, cast as Effie Trinket. And Ray Fiennes as President Snow, the Donald Sutherland role. Effie Trinket, of course, being the Elizabeth Banks role. So, Jesus Christ, Jeff, this is a stacked cast for a second installment in this vein of the Hunger Games.
Lionsgate should split this movie into 2.
Let's see the embargo on this one.
I really feel like they haven't really spared any expense as far as the casting goes. They got their top choices, in Ray Fiennes and Kieran Culkin and Elle Fanning. They cast the leads probably fairly cheap too. Joseph Zada is like a complete unknown, really.
Yes.
Whether it was the money that they said yes to or the script. I've heard the script is excellent. I heard this is like a great script from Billy Ray. Everyone was eager to sign on. So I can't wait. I've always liked this franchise. I didn't see the Rachel Zegler one, actually. I never saw Songbirds and Snakes, but I like the Jennifer Lawrence movies. And I think that this is going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. So we're at the hour mark before we move on to some more cast. And I like the casting. This is a great casting. So, you don't need more input from me on that. I think it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing what this movie is going to be. But before we move on to our other casting news, I remind you all to please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that bell button so you see when the hot mic is dropping every week. Jeff and I have talked about possibly doing a second show, which would be pre-taped. So subscribing would get you access to that as well. But Jeff, you have a newsletter that you're dropping stuff on all the time, every week, multiple times a week. Please let people know where they can subscribe to that.
TheInsnider.com. I'll have a little scoop on a serial killer movie, I think, later tonight.
Nice. Yeah. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And also, please remember, Streamlabs Super Chats are open. Send them in. We got 23 Super Chats so far. Keep sending them in. We're going to get to them in just a little bit. All right. Chronicles of Narnia casting, Jeff. Maybe we wrap up with this one. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, Carey Mulligan is in negotiations to nab a key role in Greta Gerwig's adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia. She's doing The Magician's Nephew. Daniel Craig, Emma Mackey, and Meryl Streep are possibly linked to this as well. And she would come in. Mulligan will play the very sick mother of Diggory, one of the two kids in the adventure. So that's also maybe not a volume-wise stacked cast, but it's a stacked cast for the small amount of actors that are part of it, Jeff. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, things are shaping up nicely. Carey Mulligan's a fantastic actress, always a great addition to any cast, but I think this is going to be a fairly small role, maybe a significant role, but it'll be a small one. I'm calling this the Felicity Jones in A Monster Calls role. You know, where it's like, that's a movie about the boy and the monster, but she was lingering on the, peripheral.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's nice that Narnia got her. But I don't expect her to, be in it a lot.
Yeah, Craig is reportedly playing the uncle. Emma Mackey is playing the White Witch, and Meryl Streep is apparently voicing Aslan, which is interesting. Meryl Streep is the voice of Aslan. Oh my.
Yeah, and Craig is going to, so we can move into that story. Craig is going to make Narnia before he does Damien Chazelle's prison movie with Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
That was announced this week. It's an untitled prison drama. And the twist is that Damien had been planning an Evil Knievel movie.
Yes.
Right? That was going to go this summer with Leonardo DiCaprio and apparently Adrian Brody. And now there are these reports that Leo, pivoted and decided to go make a Martin Scorsese movie instead. Now, a Martin Scorsese movie could be announced out of the sky blue any day, by Apple and whatever. I have no idea. But to the best of my knowledge, I don't think Martin Scorsese is filming a movie this summer. So the whole excuse, I don't know, seemed a little flimsy to me.
Okay. Well, because he said it was out of age, like that he thought, they're saying that it was because he thought Scorsese, at his advanced age, he should work with him before something happens to him. Scorsese is 82.
Okay, but if Scorsese's not working this summer, then why can't he make the Damien Chazelle movie?
That's a good point.
I don't really understand it unless Martin Scorsese is directing a movie this summer, which could be something small like Home for Apple, the Marilyn Robinson adaptation or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if that's the case. So to me, like everything else, John, what was it about?
Money.
Yes, I think this is about money. Whether they didn't. I mean, I assume they know how much Leo's fee is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that, Leo was asking for more than they wanted to pay him, or it was just the budget. Like the budget's too high for them. This is like a period drama about a guy who kids today could give a fuck about. Evil Knievel. They get to see crazy stunts every week at the movies. So like him jumping, a huge gap on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily enough, even with DiCaprio. So I think the project was just too expensive. And I think that Leo, as great as he is and as huge a movie star as he is, and how in the right role he can like turn anything into a hit, that PTA movie is going to lose a lot of money this fall. I don't care how fucking good it is. Killers of the Flower Moon, which Paramount distributed for Apple, lost a lot of money.
Yes, it did. Did not do well.
Paramount knows as well as anybody that Leo may not be what Leo used to be.
Yeah.
So the whole, I got a Scorsese movie that I want to do because he's getting old. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Some people are speculating that it's Home, the Marilyn Robinson book. Do you think that's what it's going to be?
I think it's more like it's most likely that if it is anything, if Martin's actually going into production this summer, because that's a small movie. It's not a major where ships need to be erected and shit like that. It's not I don't think it's going to be the Hawaiian movie because him. It's like, if that is your last Scorsese movie, that Hawaii movie, what you're going to be a supporting role to The Rock?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's true. That's
give me a break. If it's anything, I think it would be Home. I'm not aware that Home is going this summer.
You're DiCaprio, for God's sakes. You don't play second fiddle to The Rock. But okay, and let's see. Let's do these three real quick. Jeff, the trailers that dropped this week. Thoughts on any of the trailers that dropped this week? What did we have? We had Caught Stealing, Jurassic World, Chief of War. Anything else that dropped that you want to talk about or that you liked? And what do you think of those trailers?
Chief of War if you're a fan of C on Apple, I guess you would watch Chief of War, but I don't know who else is like signing up for Apple for that.
I agree.
Which is a bummer. I'm rooting for Justin Chun. I really hope somebody buys his movie Jamo Jaya, which I saw a couple Sundances ago and was excellent.
Right on.
It's sitting on a shelf ever since. What were the other two? Jurassic World looked like a Jurassic movie. It didn't really do anything new.
It leaned into the horror more than we've seen. I thought in my reaction to it. Do you not agree with that? Do you think it didn't?
I mean, the movie itself, I don't know that the trailer leaned into it any more than the first teaser did.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's more like these are monsters than dinosaurs.
Right.
Which may make sense.
That's what I think the approach is. Yeah.
Okay. Trailer, I mean, it looks okay.
Okay.
And what was the other one?
Caught Stealing, the Austin Butler one.
I think that's a rough trailer.
Brother, that was a rough watch. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to do well. As much as I'm rooting for Aronofsky and I love crime thrillers and that cast is stacked, that feels like a movie that struggles to open to $12 million.
Yeah, I agree. Anything on the Bear season 4 trailer? Did you get a chance to watch that? Did that excite you?
I don't watch the Bear, so I didn't.
That's right. Okay. All right. Any other trailers you watched this week you want to talk about?
No. I watched there's a documentary I saw last night that I can't talk about yet, but it was it was terrifying.
Really? Okay. Did you get a chance to watch the Brett Favre Untold? I watched that this week.
Yes. I'm glad that our friend Jenn Sterger got a chance to, tell her story, directly to the cameras and not interpreted by a writer or something like that. Yeah, it was only an hour. I was actually expecting something a little bit longer and meatier.
Me too.
But it was good. And again, if it helped Jen, then I'm all for it.
I don't know how you do a 4-hour 2-part Manti Te'o documentary and you don't do a 4-hour 2-part Brett Favre documentary. This is surprising to me. That's my only complaint. I thought Jen acquitted herself well. I'm with you. I was happy that she got to tell her side of the story fully. But I mean, there's so much we could have explored with how female sports reporters treated her. There's so much we could have explored on Brett Favre and all of that went down with him. And were there other people who are making these accusations, which are basically insinuated in the documentary in Green Bay the whole time? How much has his wife ignored along the process? There was how much of the teams turned a blind eye to? I think there was much more to dive into here if they had been allowed to do a 4-hour documentary on this. But I agree with you. It was great to see Jen, who I think should have been part of more of the documentary, to be honest with you, to see where her points of views on this are. She got a chance to tell her truth, which I thought was really good as well. So yeah, guys, it's on Netflix. If you're a Schmodown fan, if you're a Jen Sterger fan, definitely watch it. And especially if you hate Brett Favre, it's a good watch if you hate Brett Favre.
Support our girl.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, real quick, Final Destination, Jeff, box office. It's looking like it's going to pass $100 million domestically, which would make it the first Final Destination movie to do so ever. I didn't think this was a top tier installment, but it certainly is somehow resonating with a lot of people because it's also the first Final Destination film to be certified fresh by Rotten Tomatoes. Your thoughts on the box office, your thoughts on the movie real quick.
John.
Yeah.
This is the best movie I've seen all year.
Get the fuck out of here.
I've seen 70 movies this year.
You're insane. That's nonsense.
No,
Nonsense.
I thought it was absolutely everything you wanted from a Final Destination movie. It delivered everything it promised. The crowd I was with ate it up. It was a Friday night, opening night, really crowd.
Yeah.
I loved the kills. I liked the cast, which didn't have any real recognizable stars other than Tony Todd. So the cast was a nice surprise. I liked the soundtrack. I liked everything about this movie. I thought it was just about perfect.
First of all, you're an insane.
What? How? Tell me.
Okay. The opening is fantastic. Brett Bessinger, shout out to CW Stargirl for being pretty awesome in that opening. I thought the actress who played her as an older person, I thought she was great. And her little Mad Max / Braveheart compound that she built was awesome. My problem is that I disagree with you. I think there were some lightweight actors in this film that I had trouble caring what happened to them. I don't think they did what you're supposed to do in a Final Destination film, is to make you care about the relationship of these characters have with each other so that when they start to die, you're invested in the deaths that are happening, and you care about Steph's journey.
You're not. That's
I
the
am
thing.
a Final Destination fan, and I'll tell you exactly what works in these franchises. A rare horror movie franchise that I'm a fan of, and that's the issue. When they're good because you care about these characters and their relationships. This film didn't do that, but the kills were fantastic, and I thought the lead actress was good, not great, good. And I thought her mom did a really good job. And yes, Tony Todd's cameo is worth the price of admission, especially for the last few lines, which he apparently wrote.
That's crazy. That was all improvised. It was basically like him talking directly to the audience. That was an emotionally affecting scene. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
The first Final Destination, I agree that the characterizations, you care more about the characters in the original movie.
Yes.
But the subsequent sequels, once the Final Destination established what these movies are about, you're not rooting for these people to live, John. You're rooting for them to die. That's why they die at the end.
You and I are different. I'm actually rooting for them to somehow outwit death. You and I are different.
No. Death is the hero in these movies. It's not the villain. I mean, that's why we go to these movies. We're not going to see the final girl. We're not going to see Sidney Prescott survive Ghostface. We want to see death, how all these people are going to die.
You're insane. I disagree with you completely.
So it's not, to me, it wasn't like I didn't knock it for me not caring, because I did care about her and her brother.
Her brother, man. Oof.
And I was expecting them to live for the sequel. So that was kind of a nice thing.
Well, we don't know what happens because we're not going to spoil it.
Huh?
We're not going to spoil it. We don't know what happens at the end. We're not going to spoil it. Go ahead. Yeah.
We don't know what happens. What?
Don't spoil it. Keep going. Yes.
Dude, 50. How many more people this movie's going to drop off a cliff, I think, after this weekend, just because of Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible. I mean, word of mouth has been great.
Yeah.
And word of mouth on Mission Impossible is not great. But I think this is going to have a pretty steep drop for a horror movie, especially one that overperformed at 51 million. The box office is unbelievable. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I pegged this for $100 million movie. I knew that this was going to be big, but what I didn't realize is how big it was going to be internationally. But I guess there's nothing more universal than death.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I think this has a shot at 200 internationally now.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a possibility. Jesus, that'd
Crazy.
be amazing. Yeah, I mean, previous, Ali Larter, AJ Cook, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You've had some pretty good actors, dude, in these Final Destination. Don't tell me that they don't have good acting or don't have.
No, the others do. I'm saying in this installment, though, I wasn't really familiar with anybody. Teo Briones is in it, and he's part of the Briones family who used to come to our Collider screenings, John. I used to invite his father, John.
Okay.
In the Versace series, he plays Andrew Cunanan's father.
Okay.
I used to invite John. John used to bring Teo. And his daughter Issa is in the pit.
Oh, nice.
The whole Briones family, wildly talented.
That pit is just full of Nepo babies, for God's sakes. Well, I think Teo is still a young actor, and it showed in certain moments, because I didn't believe some of his exchanges he had in that movie with Steph, his sister, Caitlin Santa Juana, who I think she's going to be really good. I think she's good enough for the movie, but there are some moments, because I think some of the writing is at times, it's curious to me that these are the people that wrote the Scream movies, which you don't like, but you liked this movie. So I am fascinated.
That is a surprise. Well, I mean, it's not, Laurie Evans Taylor did not write the Scream movies, but it's Guy Busick.
I meant, yes. Right.
Yeah, I think those two had known each other for a long time, and they just got on the same page here. And I'm sure, Lipovsky and Stein probably put their print on it. I'm thrilled for those guys. I'm telling you, they're getting a ton of offers right now. I can't wait to see what they choose to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's another installment that is in the works.
I think this is accurate, Jeremy. Death is sometimes the hero, depending on the person. Agreed. I don't mind when they're an asshole and they die, but I'm not cheering for death to kill everybody in the movie.
Wasn't that? I thought that was a nice twist in that these characters aren't rooting for each other to die. Like the others are kind of, you're kind of rooting for Kerr Smith to die. He's like the bully, right?
Right. I didn't mind when
this is a family, and so the stakes are higher. I mean, but I know that you can't dwell on it and just make every scene super down and dour because you just lost your mother or your sister. Right. They still have to move things along. But I like that it was a family.
But I think the thing that makes a horror movie great is when you do dwell and have some really well-written scenes so that people feel the universal connection to these characters. I think it veered too much into just killing them off in inventive ways rather than having us spend a little more time with them. Because when the brother, with what happens to the brother in the hospital, I was like, this guy, I couldn't care less about this guy. So the death was cool, but I didn't feel it. And so for me, when I love Final Destination movies, it's when I feel the loss of these people in the lead people's lives. You know, when that dude got cut up into 5 pieces in front of Mary Elizabeth Winstead, like that was an awesome moment that you could feel the pain of her losing that person in her life. So, but you know, you and I just disagree in how we approach them. So
Fair enough.
That's fair. All right. Shall we jump into this thing? Do you want to do your Tom Cruise thing or shall we just jump into some questions? What are your thoughts here?
Tom Cruise draft?
Yeah, the draft is a little
You
too
promised the draft. Let's do the
All right.
questions and then finish with the draft.
All right, we'll do that. Let's do that. Let's hit the questions. We'll run through these. Here we go. Max Loss, what's Jeff's thoughts on Practical Magic 2 being greenlit? Fans of the original Witchcraft Fall vibes, are you intrigued? Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't really do much for me. I think this will probably be a big hit for Warner Brothers. And I actually thought Joey King was great casting as Nicole Kidman's daughter. She seems like the exact type of girl who would discover mom's history and start messing around. But yeah, it's not for me. I wasn't really like a Practical Magic guy to begin with.
Yeah, fair point. By the way, just as breaking on deadline, the Dog Stars and the Devil Wears Prada 2 have been dated. Dog Stars will be released on March 27th of 2026, and Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out on May 1st of 2026 there, Jeff. So just to let you know ahead of time there. I didn't even know there was a sequel to Devil Wears Prada. Well, there we go. Miguel's
By the way, someone has emailed me saying that the characters listed for Spider-Man 4, John, are legit. But that they're small roles meant for small action sequences. So I don't know if those are like the primary villains or just, sort of secondary villains who pop up to wreak havoc.
Maybe they're in a particular universe if they're going to do the whole multiversal thing with Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So they would be small parts of that before that Spider-Man went back into the main universe, possibly. Miguel Zion says, any screenwriting tips from y'all today? Thanks, Jeff. You got anything real quick?
Screenwriting tips today.
Yeah.
Shit.
Don't use the N-word unless you've got approval from your black actors and black people.
I would just say no typos. So like, someone sent me their scripts this week. There may be one of you watching. And I am going to dive in as soon as I find the time, because I watched like one fan's like short films this week and talked to another. I did a couple Zooms with somebody else because I'm putting myself out there as I want to give back to the community. So someone sent me their scripts and I opened the script and the first page, the word cornfield was misspelled. And I just went, bro, like, hopefully it's just this one time, but I'm telling you, if I was like a real reader, your thing would already be in the trash because like page 1, the first thing I see is a typo. That's not a good sign. So watch the typos, guys.
I agree with that. And also make sure your female characters aren't in your script just to talk about the main male character. Make sure they have their own inner lives and their own dialogue. Maxloff, Alpha Eddington, History of Sound, and New Linklater and Case 2 got mixed and negative reception at Cannes 2025. LOL. Any standout films that you want to see? Why are you LOLing about filmmakers' movies not doing well? Why would you LOL that? I'm confused by that. But any standout films that you want to see, Jeff?
I think he's laughing at everyone who spent thousands of dollars to attend this festival only to be disappointed day after day, and that's if they're even lucky enough to get into the movies.
That's a good point.
The only I want to see the Spike Lee movie.
Yes.
Everyone again. I share Tim Grierson's opinion. Tim Grierson is a critic I really respect. He's a great critic, been doing it a long time now. Yeah. But Tim Grierson was unfortunate enough to have been the one person. I guess I should have read all 10 reviews that dropped right away. He did the one negative one, and because I shared it, I'm a racist.
Or highest to lowest?
Yeah. Give me a fucking break. And a lot more reviews have since come out being fairly negative on the movie and calling it a bit of a mess. But can't wait to see it myself. And I'm also looking forward to Kelly Reichardt's movie, The Mastermind, with Josh O'Connor.
Oh yeah,
which put out an interesting little teaser today.
Yeah, I saw that. It was interesting. Miguel Zion says, y'all have given updates with the Spidey villain. Any rumors on the X-Men villain? Will it be Mr. Sinister? If so, who could you all see in the role? Bardem? I would like him for Apocalypse. Thoughts? Thanks.
I mean, I know they'd love Bardem. They tried to get Bardem as Galactus, right? In Fantastic Four. I just don't think that they wanted to spend the money on him. Again, money.
Right.
So yeah, I'm sure he's high on the list for something in the X-Men universe, but I have no idea who the actual villain will be, if it'll be Magneto or somebody else.
No one's talking about Diego Luna. Coming out of Andor, I would imagine he's got some kind of fire here and hotness. So why wouldn't you look at him to play one of these roles? Him or even but like Diego could be interesting. I think it could be interesting to look at for someone like Sinister or Apocalypse. Dennis Hoffman, if a Guy Ritchie movie starring Krasinski and Portman comes out on Apple TV, but nobody watches, does it exist? Guys cashing in. Jeff, I have no interest to see this movie. I'm going to watch it, but I have little to no interest in seeing this movie. What are your thoughts on this?
I already moved it last night to the Oops, I Missed It category on the insnider.blogspot.com. I have no plans to watch it. I've heard it's bad.
Did you see the did you see the, what's it, Matterhorn? What's the one that's coming out on HBO Max with Steve Carell?
Mountainhead, yeah.
Did you see it already?
Yeah, I did see it.
Okay.
It's under embargo, but I got a call today from somebody to talk about it with. Can't wait to talk about that one.
Okay, yeah. I got that one yesterday, so I got to see it this weekend. BTAFBM says, Jeff, I saw Life of Chuck at TIFF, and it was generally the worst film I saw of all of 2024. No idea how people are loving it so much.
There's another one about the Life of Chuck too, so read that one back to back.
Where is it? Is it further down? Oh, yeah. Max Sloth. John, I saw Life of Chuck at TIFF, and it was one of my favorites of the fest, and you would love this film and debate the film with Jeff. Stand By Me vibes. Oh, I like that.
Oh, my
Jeff,
God.
I read your
review.
review.
Oh, my God, Max.
You did not like it, Jeff.
No. Stand By Me vibes. Stand By Me is behind my shoulder right here. That is a classic of a movie. I love Jason Gorber. Jason Gorber is one of my favorite people on the planet. Great critic.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe when I looked up the Collider review, because Collider's quoted saying this is the best Stephen King adaptation of all time. Couldn't believe that Jason had written it. Couldn't believe it. That is an insane thing to believe. I mean, The Shining, The Shawshank Redemption, a zillion other movies that could be in contention. I get that there will be an audience for this movie.
Yeah.
And maybe for some people, it's the Scott Wampler of it all. Like, I ran into Ash Crossan at Riley's 50th birthday this weekend. I also ran into Sterger. And Ash was, sort of saying, like, listen, the Wampler stuff got to her. Because the film is dedicated to Scott, R.I.P. And he does pop up, like, throughout the movie. There are little, like, references to him. I think you hear his voice at one point.
Okay.
All due respect to his memory, this movie was a mess. I mean, it just wasn't for me. It tries to strike this like profound tone, and I was just like, this is so surface level. This is like fortune cookie shit.
Yeah.
I did not care for it. Now, the performances were good. Mark Hamill's good. Matthew Lillard, who I've always loved. I always have such a soft spot for Lillard. He's good. And the kid, Benj Pasek or whatever, maybe that's the La La Land guy. He's great, the kid. Yeah. Tom Hiddleston's in this movie for like 30 minutes. He has maybe 10 lines, and he spends the movie dancing. Jacob Tremblay's in the movie for 5 minutes. No, this is just like I could not wait to get out of this movie, and it wasn't very long.
Okay, there you go.
It was such a crushing disappointment on the heels of Mission Impossible, because it was like, okay, Mission Impossible sucked. This movie has to deliver. I was pretty excited for Life of Chuck. I liked the trailer, and I like to cry at movies. Give me a fucking break, dude. Flanagan's just not for me. Okay. I mean, I like Hush, and I like what he did with Gerald's Game, but like the shows and like some of his movies, Dr. Sleep, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, there you go. Oh, also, Jeff, I need to hire you to find out what happened with Mark Riley and me, because I did not get invited to the 50th anniversary or his birthday, nor was I asked to be part of the video. So I need to find out what the hell's going on. I worked opposite this man for 2.5 years. I was on a faction with this man, yet I can't get invited to this. I can't get asked to be part of the video.
I mean, JT wasn't there either. Liz, I don't know
who is in charge of the invites. That's what I want to know, because that's the person.
That's the thing. It may have been his wife. I'll remind them that you're alive. You're out of sight, out of mind, Johnny. You're down in San Diego.
Dan Murrow was in it. He's in fucking Arkansas. So don't even give me that.
Listen, there were
Christians
people
in New York.
You should have been in the video.
Yeah.
You know, you can make your own video and still send it to him and show him that you love him.
I posted it on Facebook. A happy birthday.
Yeah,
to him.
Cushing did a great job. Cushing Levine, I should say, did a great job editing it, and it was great to see everybody.
Maybe she has the problem with me. Let's find out who has the problem with me that's barring me from connecting with Mark Riley.
No one has a problem with you.
I love the Riley verse. Robert Giacinta says, John, you had a cataract. I thought you drove a Lincoln Continental, Uncle Jim. I love the show. Give us more movie drafts. Well, we're getting to our Tom Cruise movie draft for sure. Nathan Drake, Jeff, is MI2 better than Final Reckoning? Ooh.
It depends what you're looking for in a Mission Impossible movie. I'd hesitate to go that far.
Yeah, MI2 is terrible, man.
Yeah, I don't think I can say MI2 is better than Final Reckoning.
And I love John Woo, but MI2 is horrible. And anybody who defends MI2, immediately I don't trust your criticism of movies at all.
It wasn't good.
Jib Jabadoo says, appreciate the entertainment every Thursday evening. Thank you,
You
Jib.
better. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Jib. Max Sloth, has Jeff seen Hurry Up Tomorrow? Want to talk it through? Well, we don't have time.
I still haven't. Tonight might be the night, Max. I'm so curious, everything I've read about this movie, but it does sound pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think it was Max who offered me to come on and talk about it on his podcast.
Oh.
I do want to do that, Max, but yeah, I have not been in a rush to see it.
The clips have not been good. That's for sure. Nathan Drake, Patriots for life. Top 10 was pretty good too. Oh yeah, I know. We won the belt twice.
JTE wasn't there again, at the 50th.
Yeah, what's that all about? Who's doing this? Who's in charge of this stuff? Stop putting your personal feelings over Mark Riley's design.
I consider myself lucky to have gotten the invite.
There you go. Connor Przalomski says, what about Dune 3 in December 2026? Yeah, it could be Avengers versus Dune 3.
Yeah, listen, there are enough. We're doing Fantastic Four and Superman in July, right?
And
some
Jurassic
we're
World.
going to get 2 or 3 giant movies, right? Jurassic too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if. Listen, when you're Avengers, you can fucking park your ass wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Right? It's on Dune to move. Dune could be pushed back to March 2027, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm Two Fly Cam says, any Star Wars updates, Jeff? Filoni to hire an actual writer for his projects, for example, Tony Gilroy. No way is Tony Gilroy going to work for Dave Filoni. Let's put that on the table right now. He's not going to write a film for Dave Filoni to direct. Get the fuck out of here. That's never happening. Jeff, your thoughts?
I have no idea as far as that goes. I don't really have any Star Wars updates.
Okay.
Other than I'm finally going to break bread with Lucasfilm's rep next week, I think.
Nice.
Or maybe the week after that. But I don't think that there's any other closed deals on Star Wars Starfighter.
Okay.
I don't think that anyone else has joined Gosling, but some of the names that have been floated out there are, either high on a list or in early talks or whatever like that. So and I don't know all those names. I can't keep track of all the rumors, but the one who has stood out to me that it feels like there's probably some element of truth to it. I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
Is the kid from Stranger Things, Dacre Montgomery.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
That feels like it might be legit.
Trash Panda just saying, with the Doomsday delay news, plan on going to D23 2026 and getting into the live action panel. Infinity War trailer debuted at D23 2017. Oh, good point. Okay. Yeah. Get yourself in there. Matt A., what do you think happens to Dune Messiah now that Avengers has taken its December 2026 slot? Does it move forward or backwards? Well, we just said, July has 3 big movies coming out, so why wouldn't December?
Yeah, it could. It's saying that it took its date. It actually took the actual date that Dune 3 is on.
Maybe.
Dune could move up to November. It feels like it could be a November or October kind of movie,
right?
Or it pushes back to. I think that's the window. And I think it either moves up to October where Dune 2 was, right?
Right.
Or it moves back to the following March, which is where the first Dune was.
Okay, so Avengers Doomsday is coming out December 18th, 2026. Dune 3 right now is slated for December 16th. So it would come out on Wednesday versus Friday.
No, these movies are not going to come out the same weekend.
Yeah, no.
Avengers rewrites the whole calendar. Let's be honest. You're going to see a whole bunch of moves because that's what happens when the dominoes fall in Hollywood. It's because something hit the first domino and made the others fall. That's what an Avengers movie moving is. Everything, the entire release calendar is built around that movie, essentially.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, because Dune didn't make $1 billion. Both Infinity War and Endgame did. Scott, hope you both are doing well. Much appreciation for the show. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you, buddy.
Nice Mustafar avatar there, brother. DUI champ. Hey, guys, was Thunderbolts a success or a flop? Well, it just crossed 300 million worldwide. Jeff, is it I think it's a success for what it was originally thought it was, how bad it was originally thought it was going to bomb. I think it's been a success, maybe not financially, but I think they did better than they thought. This is like Elemental or Aquaman 2. People thought it was going to bomb pretty bad, and then in the end, it did enough to keep it afloat, considering what people were. Am I right on that?
No, I think if I listen, I'm not going to be a fucking hypocrite and try to spin it. Like if I've been saying things about Sinners, which finally is, you know, now profitable theatrically.
It is making money.
It can be profitable with the ancillary, but now I can say theatrically it is a profitable movie.
Yeah.
And no, Thunderbolts is a flop by those standards. Absolutely. What do you mean? If Thunderbolts costs between 150, I mean, I don't know what people say it actually costs, but
yeah,
I'm going to guess between 150 and 175. Throw another 75 on top of that for global marketing. Now you're at 250, you're 225, 250 all in. Yeah, like you would need to make 500 million worldwide. You're saying it's at 300 million. So
it's at 325.7 right now. It passed the Incredible Hulk's 264. It passed the Marvels 199.7. So at least
the Marvels is a huge flop.
That was a huge flop. Yes, you're not wrong.
Again, even with, because I'm sure that Marvel, just like Sinners, gets a better split for the studio, right? So even if you're doing 55% of the box office instead of 50, I'm sure the take home is probably like 180 million, which covers maybe production, but it doesn't cover marketing at this point. Now, again, with ancillary, that may cover marketing, and so it may have just barely be enough to break even. But theatrically, no, I have to say it's a flop.
This is something to tell you how much we've changed. Captain America: The First Avenger made a total of 370 million in the theater. Thunderbolts is close to that, but it's still considered might be considered a flop. So, I mean, that just tells you how much the expectations have changed on the Marvel side of things since Captain America: First Avenger. J&B coming in late. Why does Rocha look like a baseball manager for AAA ball? I love you, Rocha. Okay, Jeff isn't bad either, as insufferable as he can be. Whoa, J&B. How dare you? And also, for those of you who are late, I am this way because I had eye surgery yesterday, and I cannot have light in my eyes. It affects me, so I'm wearing these shades to block it.
Pack a lip.
Yeah, I've got my gum in here. I got to chew gum sometimes.
Get this man some sunflower seeds.
No, I hate that shit. Maxloth, Movie, A24, Neon are the most popular distributors. Movie and Neon are growing and expanding to be more prominent. Any guess on Movie goals for the future? By the way, I signed up for Movie 3 months ago, Jeff. I now have a subscription to them because I want to start watching.
Have you been watching stuff on the service? Or
does
it sit there?
It's stuff I can't even review, Jeff, because no one's going to watch me watching some film from Germany or Italy or something like there's going to be no views on it. So I have to find a place to put my reviews. And I'm very seriously considering opening a Letterboxd account, which I've never considered until recently.
I mean, Movie, it's different than A24 and Neon in the sense that it's a streaming platform. Right?
Yes.
A24 and Neon don't have their own streaming platforms.
Yeah. It's also much more international. And it's
but it's like the new Criterion collection, really. That's what I compare it to. I don't know, Movie spending 24 million on that Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good bet in my mind. I don't know who that is for necessarily, but you never know. I just think it's a good thing that there's another buyer in the space.
I agree.
A buyer with, from what I can tell, decent taste at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Max Sloth says Aronofsky agreed to make a Cujo remake for Netflix because Caught Stealing trailer looks rough/bad, watered down, and sanitized. Well, Max, we don't know if that's the reason, but I mean, it's good that he's going to do it, I guess. Jeff?
Again, I think Cujo is a good 80s movie that isn't an untouchable classic. Like there are ways to improve upon that, and Aronofsky may just want a crack at doing a Stephen King adaptation. I'm sure the Netflix money wasn't bad either. And I do think Caught Stealing with that August 29th release date, like that just spells doom in any language.
Doom. I agree. Matt Sinners from McCall. Best Sneider, Man with a Machete, ran in Hurry Up Tomorrow movie. Nobody harmed because nobody was there. Rocha planning to sneak a chicken into Superman. Fuck yeah, chicken jockey scene in Superman. Hell yeah, let's make it happen.
That's good with the machete. Nice.
Robert Giacinto, I think Shane Gillis led the charge to walk off the set of Madden. Oh, I'd be very surprised if Shane Gillis.
I think that's Robert pulling our leg. Nothing
against Shane. I think Shane is, he's come out recently saying he's seeing the light about a certain person. So I would not doubt it, but then I'd be surprised. Final Reckoning. Oh, Wiley Todd. Final Reckoning just ended better than Dead Reckoning, but still not even close to Fallout or Rogue Nation. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I don't think it's better than Fallout or Rogue Nation, but I do think Final Reckoning is better than Dead Reckoning. But Jeff disagrees.
No, yeah.
We'll find out at the box office this week for sure. Dennis Hoffman, Jeff, what's Justin Lin up to? Did Vin break him? I don't know. What is Justin Lin up to, Jeff? Do you know?
No, I can't keep track. Yeah. With the mission stuff, though.
What do you want to say?
Like, there was an article recently that Deadline did about Deeper, right? It was about Ana de Armas joining Tom Cruise in Deeper, and how they'd already started diving and stuff.
Right.
The movie is out there. It's available.
Yeah.
The movie specifically said it was too rich for Warner. The Deadline story said that the movie was too rich for Warner Brothers' blood. Okay, now Tom Cruise just signed a deal at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, true.
Now you're telling me that he signed a deal there. Warner's just fucking stoked to have this guy.
Yeah,
he's diving with Ana de Armas for his next movie. We don't want it. It's too rich for our blood.
Right.
That's because they're looking at box office tracking.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mission Impossible, and they're like, I don't know that this guy's worth it.
Yeah. This movie is going to be real interesting because, it's almost 3 hours, bro. So I'm going to be real surprised. I'm going to be real interested, rather, to see what the box office is for. Because I tell you this, I saw Lilo and Stitch. My review probably up tomorrow. I saw Lilo and Stitch on Monday. I really liked it. And as watered down or safe or whatever some of these sycophantic lovers of the original animated film are saying about it, I've only seen the animated film once or twice. So I didn't remember much of it. And I watched the movie live action version and I enjoyed it. So, if you're not a big Lilo and Stitch person and you're tied to what happened in the animated film, I think you can sit back, relax, and enjoy this movie. It's a lot. And the two main actresses are the little girl and her sister. They're really, really good in the film. So
I have no plans to see it unless my nieces want me to drag me to them. I don't know. If my nieces want me to see it, I will go see it in a few weeks. But that movie is going to do gangbusters business, and not just because of the box office, but because it didn't cost that much.
No, right. And it's a massive merchandise seller for Disney, Lilo and Stitch. So, all right. With the projected, this is Raphael Jacinta. With the projected success of Freakier Friday, do you think Disney's kicking themselves for not releasing Hocus Pocus 2 in theaters?
I don't think that they're kicking themselves, but clearly the things that they've developed, like Lilo and Stitch, like Inside Out 2, both of which were originally intended for Disney Plus, and then they're like, oh, okay, let's get, these are testing well, let's give these a theatrical release. I think that they've learned a valuable lesson there, but I don't think that they're necessarily thinking they could have repeated that with Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, yeah, I don't think Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker are going to do. Jamie Lee Curtis is still currently working in feature films and just won an Oscar. And there's an attraction of Lindsay Lohan coming in to be a part of this again. So I think it's a different animal to compare those two. Also, Justin Lin, real quick, Dennis, has 3 projects lined up right now in pre or post-production, and he's been executive producing a number of CBS TV series, successful ones. So he's been busy. Vin did not break him. Scott, Jeff, whenever you're back in Massachusetts, if you have time, let me buy you a coffee. There you go.
You can buy me a fucking Kreller at fucking Dunkies.
Fucking Dunkies. Samo says, you know any update we will get on an Avatar 3 trailer? I haven't heard anything, Jeff. Have you?
No, I have not heard anything, but I probably wouldn't kick that campaign into gear until end of summer or early fall.
Oh, good point. Message McCall. Hey, Jeff, I was told by Beth Snyder that Sadie is not Peter's daughter. MJ had an affair with Brendan Fraser's whale character. Peter is not the father. Oh, boy, that is not good. Let's move.
I hope that joke was worth $5.
I know. They can't all be hits. Wayne Edwards says, in support of the hot mic and Rocha specifically, I am also wearing sunglasses. Nice.
Everybody get your sunglasses on.
Speedy recovery, brother. Thank you, man. I'm already feeling better. It's just I've got to stay out of too much bright light. Alan Smithy, I know you guys are wearing sunglasses based on my inspiration. There you go. My picture wears sunglasses every day. Yes, you do, Smithy. Yes, you do. Also, what's the deal with that French reporter disrespecting Denzel? Yes, you could read lips. Stop it. When Denzel tells you to shut up, you better shut it right. Jeff, I'm telling you right now, I wanted to jump through the screen and kick the shit out of that reporter for daring to put his hands on Denzel. And I got to tell you, there's an element of racism here, in my opinion. The fact that he thought he could grab someone like Denzel, a world-renowned, you wouldn't pull that shit with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise broke his arm. It's madness to me. He thought he could do it twice, Jeff.
Yeah, there's something about the French where it's like, I don't know if they're just so French. Like goofy. I mean, they're very entitled, but the guy played it off like he's a joke. Like he didn't stop like smiling or laughing during all of it. But yeah, I don't think Denzel found it very funny. And I think if the other cameras weren't around, Denzel would have gone King Kong on his ass.
Absolutely. I would have gone Kong. Where's Denzel's security, for fuck's sake? Wayne Edwards, with your own individual top 10 favorite movies of all time lists, what is your oldest film and what is your most recent film? Well, I'm not going to give you my top 10 list. That's one I've held on to for forever. But I will tell you, my oldest film is probably 1941. And my newest film might be 2019 in my top 10. So what about you, Jeff?
I mean, top 10? I don't have my all-time top 10 list together. And
they're
probably all from 1995. You know? But if I like go back through like my oldest or my just like favorite movies, like.
Do you have any black and white favorite movies in your top 10?
No. Stop. No, I'd be like, if I was going to put like, these are the great old movies, I'm going to like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Dog Day Afternoon in the mid 70s. Right. So to you, those aren't even like old movies. That's like yesterday to you. Those are the old movies that I would put on my like best of all time list. And then, you know, probably something as recent as like Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah. That's a good one. I love that movie, man. Why? I wish that would come out on 4K. I wish that would come out. I want to see what.
Why do you need to see that movie in 4K? What's the difference whether you have it in 4K or shitty VHS? It's all about the story. It's about the power and the emotion.
It's a film, man. You got to appreciate the cinematography and the way they frame some of the shots of that area of Massachusetts. What are you talking about?
He's a writer.
Oh, God. Hey, so will Jamajaya ever see the light of day? It's been ages, Jeff.
I saw your tweet this week, and I meant to respond to it, but it was on a day where I said I'm putting Twitter aside. Because I think it's probably the same person who mentioned on Twitter. I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day. I think last I heard he was re-editing it. I don't know why somebody doesn't make him an offer. The movie's fantastic. But yeah, he may just not be happy with it. I don't know.
Okay. All right, let's hit the Streamlabs real quick. Mike Green 74. There Will Be Blood is a true masterpiece. Can either of you compare an MCU or CCU film? I think he means DCU film to that movie. Don't tell me Endgame, please. I watched There Will Be Blood in the theater again, and fucking nothing touches this movie. Nothing. Flawless. Mike, yes, I can tell you, and Infinity War is what I would tell you is much more the masterpiece than Endgame, if I was going to call any MCU movie a masterpiece. But no, of course I wouldn't compare it to The Will Be Blood. There's two different things. Jeff, what do you think? Would you?
I wouldn't compare any Marvel movies to There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, that's tough.
But if I had to say one that is close to There Will Be Blood, not in terms of quality, but just like what reminds me of maybe Thor, the OG Thor.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
What a weird question. It's a weird question.
It is. But I will also say, like, this kind of snooty elitism about movies is dangerous, in my opinion, because There Will Be Blood is not trying to do what an MCU movie is trying to do. And you've got to gauge things by what their approaches are in terms of gauging whether they're a masterpiece or not. There Will Be Blood still has cheesy moments. Need I remind you about the milkshake moment, which is utterly cheesy as hell. But it works because it's Daniel Day-Lewis. But it is super balls cheesy, you know? So there's elements of it that are really, really good. And we talked about it on the Cinephiles. Plug, if you want to listen to us talk about me and Steve. Chris, hey, Jeff, last week you mentioned you hadn't heard great things about The Housemaid. Could you elaborate on that? I know you felt positive after CinemaCon, but has that changed?
I mean, again, just because someone who has my email sees the movie and doesn't like it isn't going to like make me think of it differently. I thought it looked juicy and pulpy. I haven't read the book. But yeah, from what I heard, it was a real groaner.
Oh, okay. I am Too Like Am. Hey, Hot Mike, why do you think Thunderbolts is underperforming? Do you envision the same for Fantastic Four? Also, I think Mission Impossible won't even cross 650 million worldwide. I think Jeff was correct about the film. Very generic, uninspired movie. I disagree. I think it'll make 800 million.
Are you insane?
And
I'll pay you anything you want.
I don't know. Thunderbolts is underperforming because people didn't know these characters that well. And so I don't think even word of mouth or changing New Avengers was ever going to change the potential box office of that movie. And hell no, it's not even remotely close to Fantastic Four. That has way more knowledge, way more characters, way more actors that are well known than Thunderbolts did. So I think the positive buzz around that is much more of a hype machine than Thunderbolts. Jeff, your thoughts? What do you think it's underperforming?
Why? I just don't think that people really care about the characters, and they're not terribly invested in the cast. It just seems like a TV series that, it feels like Kevin said, homework. Things are starting to feel like homework.
Yeah, it's fair.
Dude, I'll give you. You want to make a bet on Mission Impossible?
No, I'm not making any bets on both.
Want to do 700?
No.
Do 650?
No. I'm
all right.
But if it crosses 800 million, you have to buy me steak. All right. Anyway.
But if I'm right, you owe.
Ari Paper Master says, if Kevin Spacey won an Oscar next year, would you be fine with that, Jeff, and see nothing wrong with that?
Yes. If he gives the best performance of the year, he shouldn't get it because he touched somebody years ago, which, I'm not denying that anything happened, even though his team would say it was all consensual. What does that have to do with him giving the best performance of the year if it's so undeniable?
He'll never sniff a role that'll remotely get him close to an Oscar.
And that's fine, but this is the hypothetical that what if he did?
Yeah.
Why would I have a problem with him winning the Oscar? Should it go to someone who gave an inferior performance?
Yeah. I would have an issue with it, but for different reasons, right? Because I'd be like, well, look at Hollywood, who's been so up in arms about a certain somebody sexually assaulting people, yet you're going to vote for this another person who sexually assaults to win.
So we're voting on who's the best person.
It's in hypocrisy. John for Barca. Hey, John and Jeff, your show is great. And I learn each week from you both. Do you know if you probably learn more from Jeff than me? Do you know if Damian Lewis has been offered or is in talks for Star Wars, DC, Marvel, etc.? Also, are J-Law, Fassbender, and or McAvoy showing up in the upcoming Avengers films? Ooh, that's a good second question.
J-Law, Fassbender, or McAvoy? I doubt it.
Okay.
I feel like they're just pretending new class or first class never even happened.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what it feels like. And what was the first part of it?
Why hasn't do you know if Damian Lewis has been offered anything in Star Wars, DC Marvel?
No, I don't. But he is the first person who I thought of actually, where if they're doing Cliff Booth.
Yeah, he's Steve McQueen.
Right. Why wouldn't if this is Hollywood, why wouldn't you bring back Damian Lewis as Steve McQueen?
I agree 100%, dude.
There was a rumor today, by the way, about Aldous Hodge joining the cast. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but he would be like a Jim Brown type, like a former NFL star who becomes an actor, which I think he's perfect for.
Well, he played him, didn't he, in the Miami movie that Regina King directed?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It would work. One Night in Miami.
Yeah.
Samuel says, Jerry. Hi, guys. So, Jeff, I wanted to ask you, with the delays of both Avengers, do you expect the new movie now in that dates, or are they going to leave everything like this? Well, we said Michael, right? Jeff, do you anticipate any other movie that would slide into those slots?
I tell you, everything is going, everything is up for grabs. The release calendar, as you know it, is about to be completely rewritten because every decision is built around what is the biggest movie.
Gotcha.
Right. That is the tallest domino in the land, and then all the other dominoes are built around that one. And so when that domino moves, you're going to see everybody else fucking reposition. Oh, the May is open. Okay, well now June's open for another movie. Oh, I'm going to take June. It's going to be crazy. Okay. And people do learn stuff from you, Rocha. They learn how to deal with a fucking psychopath co-host.
Please.
That's what they learn from you.
I've had other psychopathic co-hosts, that's for sure. Samo, I just saw Speed yesterday. I'm joking. I'm not serious about that. Just in case anyone goes in after notes to anybody. No, they've all been great. Samo says, I just saw Speed yesterday at the Plaza Theater in Atlanta. It's a great movie that still holds up. Anyway, it makes me wonder why Jan de Bont Hasn't made a movie since 2003. Which other director who has made a masterpiece should get out of director jail? Speed is not a masterpiece.
Yes, it is. Are you nuts?
Insane. You're the one
You're
crying about
insane.
that term being used too much, and you want to call that a masterpiece? Get out of
Dude,
here.
you and I don't know what a good action movie is. You don't think T2 is a masterpiece. You don't think Speed is a masterpiece.
No.
Those two and Die Hard are like the definition of action masterpiece.
Die Hard is a masterpiece, yes.
So is
But I will
Speed.
not- Speed's fun, but I will not give you Speed.
I don't really know how you make Speed and Twister and your Yonderbond. You like don't get hired after that. I mean, I know
you make Speed 2 Cruise Control, you make The Haunting, and you make Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life, which were all
he's had some stinkers, but like, yeah, this guy isn't even directing like B movies for Emmett Furler or something. Like, it is a little weird. I don't really know what happened with his career, but he has the talent. Speed is incredible, John.
I'm not saying it isn't a good movie, but I think you 90s kids try to pump up your stuff way too much sometimes. It's a little embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing.
Action masterpiece.
Oh my God. Test. Jeff, which podcast do you listen to? Any recommendations?
What podcast do I listen to?
Yeah.
I listen to the Big Picture podcast, like a lot of other people. It makes me pull my fucking hair out sometimes, or what little hair I have left. But I do listen.
Fantasy.
I listen to The Town sometimes, depending on the guest.
Fantasy
Simmons podcast.
I would say the Fantasies takes drive me nuts. Anonymous, the hot mic rocks. Thank you, Anonymous. After Captain and Thunderbolts coming in low, makes me believe Fantastic Four won't reach 800 million. Please tell me different. Oh yeah,
I'm not worried about Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I think that movie will be big, and I don't think that Thunderbolts foretells anything about its performance.
Yeah, I agree. Neither one of those films has anything to do with Fantastic Four. I think Fantastic Four might even cross 1 billion, to be honest. What movies says 800 million, Rocha? I loved MI8, but even I think 800 is a tall order. Rocha, you got to see Sinners on 70 millimeter IMAX in Indy after making the pilgrimage from Ohio. Oh, I got to see Sinners on 70 millimeter IMAX in Indy after making the pilgrimage from Ohio to Indy for the FAVRE and Sky game last Saturday. And holy shit, what an experience, both the game and the film in 70 millimeter. I bet. What an experience to go see Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese in the opening game of the season and seeing Sinners in 70 millimeter IMAX. That's awesome. But yeah, I know 800 is probably not going to happen. Probably not. All right. So shall we do it, or are we out of time? Like,
no, let's do it. Let's do it like speed round, like Tom Cruise movies. How many do we want to do though?
Do you want to say 8 or do you want to say 10? What are you feeling?
8 should be fine.
Right?
Yeah, we don't need to do 10. Like, it's so arbitrary. Like, yeah, let's just do 8. That's fine.
Okay, go ahead. How do you want to do? You want to flip? What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, are you asking me officially, or because we're gonna do a 1-4 split and back and forth?
Yes.
So you're asking what I want, or is there one that you want?
No, I'm asking you. You suggested this. You should get first dibs. I'm just happy we're talking about Tom Cruise.
I want 2-3.
You want 2-3? You son of a bitch. All right. Then we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tom Cruise movie draft here on the hot mic. We are going to be jumping into this thing. Let's do it, Jeff. So Jeff will be 2-3. I will take 1-4, and then we'll alternate until we reach our top 8 of Tom Cruise. So you know what? Right off the bat, I would normally go with Top Gun, but I think I have to go with Top Gun Maverick as my number 1. I have to take it as my number 1 movie overall. All right, Jeff. You're 2 and 3.
Number 2, I'm going to go Born on the 4th of July.
Ooh, okay.
And at number 3, this is a bit of an upset pick.
Oh.
I'm going to go Jerry Maguire.
Wow. You son of a bitch.
I fucking love Jerry Maguire.
You son of a bitch. Oh. I had that slated for later in the count because I had no idea you were going to take it that high.
Surprise.
Damn. Surprise. All right, so then my number 4 has to be Mission Impossible Fallout, which is my favorite of the Mission Impossible movies. That's my Skyfall of Mission Impossible is Fallout. So I will put that at my number 4. I'm going really current with this beginning here.
I will take his other Oscar-nominated performance, Magnolia.
Oh, nice choice. Ooh, nice choice. Okay, then I will go A Few Good Men. I have to go A Few Good Men. Come on. That's Tom Cruise ascending to the next level. So I have to take A Few Good Men.
Okay. All right, since I'm definitely getting one of the other two, I'm going to go with Rain Man here.
Ooh, nice choice. Nice choice, Rain Man. All right, so then my pick is Collateral because Vincent is the man, and I want to hurt you someplace that you need to show your therapist on the doll. So I'm going to take Collateral from you, is what I've done here. Just so we don't know each other.
I like that pick. That's a good value pick at 8.
I agree.
I'm going to go the OG Mission Impossible.
Wow, the original.
Yeah,
interesting.
That's right.
Okay. All right. All right.
Which I still think, I mean, Fallout is great.
Yes.
But there's something about that first movie that I just love. And certain sequences that I think really have stood the test of time. So
yeah, I can respect that. Then I will take an underappreciated sci-fi classic in Edge of Tomorrow, which is a much better film than Speed. But I think, that's where I take Edge of Tomorrow in this slot here.
Listen, when this draft makes it online, don't look at the comments, John, because they're going to be bad for you. I'm going to take The Color of Money.
What? Are you crazy? That film is not even, it might not be in my top 20 of Tom Cruise movies. All right, where are we at? What are you at right now?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my 8.
All right, so this is my 6th? This will be my 6th. All right, so then I will take. Oh, this is tough. Shit. What have I got left here? There. Oh, I got to take Tropic Thunder. No one's taken Tropic Thunder. I've ordered a poster to come that's going to be on the wall here very soon. So I take Tropic Thunder, man. I love that movie.
13, give me Minority Report, Steven Spielberg.
Damn it. That was my next one. Minority Report. Son of a gun. Nice choice. All right. I'm going to go for this film that I love to pieces. The Last Samurai. I think he's excellent in this movie. I love this movie. And as I said with Manchester by the Sea, I don't know what the fuck is going on that Last Samurai is not in 4K. So I can enjoy the scope of that movie. It's mind-blowing to me. And I love his performance in that film.
Okay.
How many is that?
You have one more, and I have
this one and another one, right?
I have 1, 2, 3.
Somebody 4. Make our list. Put it in the comments.
This is my last pick. This is my last pick, and because it's my last pick, oh man, I wanted another Mission Impossible movie, but I can't leave this guy hanging. I cannot leave this movie hanging because it gets a bad rap, and it's so good. And that movie is Vanilla Sky.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Eyes Wide Shut. Interesting. Okay. Vanilla Sky. Nice choice, man.
Are you going Eyes Wide Shut with the final pick?
No, because I don't think that's one of my top 8.
Yeah.
Not even my top 16 cruise movies.
I don't love Eyes Wide Shut.
It insists upon itself, Jeff. That's the problem with Eyes Wide Shut. Oh, man.
I mean, do we want to go to 10? Should we just go to 10?
All right, fine. I'm going to take Rogue Nation then, if we're going to 10.
That was the one I was thinking, John. So that's a good pick by you.
Thank you. Somebody put the picks in the chat, for God's sakes.
We want to go to 10. Should we just cut it
there? Go ahead. If you can stick around, I can stick around, but it's always you.
We just get 2 more picks each, right?
Yes. 2 more picks each. Go ahead.
Okay. I got to think about this then. Let's see. There's one I have in mind, but let me see here.
Somebody put our lists in the chat, please. I didn't write it down.
Okay, I'm gonna do.
Come on, guys. We have 900 of you watching.
I'm almost done. Yeah. Oh Jesus! I'm gonna go with The Firm.
Oh, that's not bad. Why are you making it sound like that's a bad choice? That's a good movie.
I already am regretting it.
Wow. Oh, I'll give you a mulligan if you want to toss
mulligan? You're gonna give me.
I was never going to choose it. I was never going to choose it. So if you want to toss it back in the pile, knock yourself out. I've got at least 4 to choose from for my final 2. So I'm good.
I may come back to the firm for my last pick, but for my second to last pick, I'm actually going to go backwards, and I'm going to choose The Outsiders.
Oh, nice choice, bud. Nice choice. Nice choice. Well, now that we've extended this, I can bring in my favorite Tom Cruise film, which is Top Gun. It's going all the way back. So,
I totally forgot that was still on the board. Good one. Good one.
Top Gun Maverick, #1, but Top Gun is my favorite Tom Cruise film, period. So at least it made my top 10 for now. So, yeah.
Okay. So now it's like, do I want it? It's basically between The Firm and Interview with the Vampire, I think.
Ooh, that's tough.
Because I'm not an Eyes Wide Shut guy. I'm not a War of the Worlds guy. I mean, I like Oblivion. I like Jack Reacher, too. But, A Firm or Interview with the Vampire.
Trust me, I'm not taking either one of those, so you can choose whichever one you want. Don't worry about me.
You know what? I think I gotta go with The Firm. I'm gonna hold firm with The Firm.
Hey-oh. All right. Let me see what hasn't been taken here, because I think there's
you've got Cocktail, you've got Days of Thunder.
Ooh, I do. Those are cheesy 90 films that you probably think are masterpieces.
No,
I don't want to take those. You know what? I'm gonna take look. I put enough Mission Impossible films in my top 10, so I don't want to overwhelm it. So I'm gonna not choose another Mission Impossible film, even though I totally should take Ghost Protocol. But I'm gonna slide in a film that I think hardly anybody saw, but I thought was fantastic, and he was great in it. And that is American Made.
Oh, okay, that is good.
He is so good in that movie, and no one has seen it, Jeff. Like, no one has seen it.
Yeah, the Barry Seal movie. I did like that. I was going to mention that in your list of possibilities.
Yeah.
That you saw the light in the end. All right. So to recap.
Okay. I didn't write mine down. So if you
have I have them all. I have them all. Okay.
Right, go ahead. Yeah.
Your is Top Gun Maverick.
Wait, the winning list is, go ahead. Yes. Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yes.
A Few Good Men.
Yes.
Collateral, Edge of Tomorrow.
It's an amazing list.
Tropic Thunder. Wow. The Last Samurai. Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation.
Yes.
Top Gun, and American Made.
Jesus, that is a winning list if I ever. I should get the Oscar now. Go ahead. Yes.
I've got Born on the 4th of July, Jerry Maguire, Magnolia, Rain Man, the original Mission Impossible, The Color of Money, Minority Report, Vanilla Sky, The Outsiders, and The Firm.
Oof.
I don't know about that, Johnny. That seems like a V.
That's Frazier versus Ali. This goes all the way to the final round. This battle, for God's sake.
Well, I will put the results on. Should I tweet the results? Or
tweet the results.
You're going to break this out, aren't you?
I'll pull it out and put it up.
All right, do that and yeah.
We'll sound okay. I'll put it up this weekend for sure.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
That was fun though. I'm glad we squeezed it in. It was only 10 minutes.
That was a lot of fun. Didn't take too long either. So we should do more of those though, man. We should have some more fun. People like our drafts. So we should focus on doing, maybe if we do the second show, that'll be an element or segment of the second show we can keep clipping out. All right. Well, there you go. That's our episode of the Hot Mic for May 22nd, 2025. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it madly. Jeff, again, please let people know where they can find you and all your scoops that you're breaking on your newsletter.
TheInsnider.com, the newsletter with the most. And I'll be doing a live episode of FYC on Saturday morning, 10 a.m., Perry Nemiroff's channel. We're talking about the limited series categories. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, thanks for subscribing to the newsletter so that I can buy more great tank tops like this one. This was free.
There you go. I like that one. As for me, you can always follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads. We got to get Jeff on Blue Sky, for God's sakes. You can also subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that bell button. Leave all your comments on everything. And if you guys don't remember, we also have the podcast form. So sometimes you can't watch us on YouTube and you want to listen to us, take us when you work out, you go hiking, whatever. Subscribe to the podcast channel. Just look for the Outlaw Nation podcast channel and you'll find the Hot Mic. Oh, sorry. Look for the Hot Mic channel. You'll find the Hot Mic podcast feed there as well. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We love you madly. Go see a movie this weekend. A lot coming out this weekend. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of the Hot Mic. Peace. Until then.